Good afternoon, everyone. Suncorp looks sensational, and the stage is now set for the 1997 Ericsson Cup final. Australia's soccer's most sought-after prize, the Ericsson Cup, and the name of the Brisbane Strikers or Sydney United will be engraved onto the trophy in just under 2 hours. It's already unprecedented today. And with me to savour the moment is my co-commentator, Johnny Warren.
Paul, what an honour to be here. I mean, this is stunning stuff. At the start of the season, you'd said this is how the season is going to end. I don't think anyone would have believed it, but it's a great day for our football, a great day for Brisbane in particular. They've taken the punt to bring back Farina. They've taken the punt to move here to Suncorp, and anyone who takes a punt, of course, we like to see them succeed, and they certainly have. On the other hand, of course, Sydney United, their quality of football they've played this year makes them many people's favourite to win today.
We'll now confirm the starting 11s, and tragedy struck twice in a week for Wayne Knipe. He dislocated his elbow at training on Friday, and he misses the match. And this forces the hand of Frank Farina really to start himself up front with Rod Brown. Shea Hughes is a surprise inclusion in midfield ahead of Gary Phillips. Australian under-20 player Casey Wehrman will be alongside him, but to calm the nerves of the youngsters is the veteran Danny Wright, recalled to the side after an eye operation into the defence, and he's playing his final game before retiring. So what a way to finish for Danny Wright possibly, but a special mention to Wayne Knipe. He was left out of the Australian under-20 side during the week. That was a real body blow for him, but when he went down at training on Friday night and dislocated his elbow, you just really feel for the youngster. And Casey Wehrman has a part to play today without a doubt as the two captains, Alan Hunter of Brisbane and Mark Babbage of Sydney United, go through the pre-game formalities. Matthew Orr is the young Brisbane Strikers mascot there, just handing the coin back to today's referee, Simon Micallef. And, well, we say that it's a big day for players, but we forget the officials and the mascots and all of the other people that are involved in this magnificent scene here at Suncorp. Well, for Sydney United, Mark Babbage, as I said, the captain, he returns to the side today to replace the unfortunate Robbie Ennish, who's suspended. In the reshuffle, Richard Plesher will move to sweeper, so that Babbage and Velimir Kuprashak, who also plays his final game before retiring, they'll be the markers. Atek Gench, only just back from injury, got the nod ahead of Jason Kalina in midfield. That was a surprise, but amongst the terrific trio of Zdrilic, Milicic and Maricic, well, you're likely to find Sydney United's potential match winner there. We can still see some of the markings on the pitch from the Rugby League, and there is Simon Micallef. What a day for him. Talking to him before the game, he said it was the biggest game of his life, and this is a man who's refereed 5 international matches as well. So, stunning occasion for him. 10 weeks ago, his first daughter was born, Sarah Louise, and it's been a huge year for him, he was saying, in so many ways. And it will be a huge year too for either the Brisbane Strikers or for Sydney United as the match is underway. The 97 Ericsson Cup Grand Final. Already the Strikers have got a shot on goal with Hughes and Callats. Well, I'm sure he wasn't expecting to be called into action so quickly. And Shea Hughes, who was thrust into the starting 11 virtually at the last minute, somewhat surprisingly, many people felt, ahead of Gary Phillips. Well, there's no signs of nerves there. Just look at that.
And significant, Paul, that move started with Casey Wehrman. Brisbane need a big game from him today, and that was an ideal start for him.
Well, corner to the Strikers. Drilled low and to no effect in the end there. And Hughes is just playing with adrenaline at the moment in this opening minute. And even by grand final standards, today's match is really quite extraordinary. Not just because of the amazing crowd scenes that we've got, but the importance for both of these clubs. It just can't be overlooked at all. Helped on by Hughes. Farina with his first touch. Plesher leaving it to Callats. Brisbane are looking to spread the strikers' message across the state. They're looking to grow the club. They've created this overnight following here, and it's a following of huge proportions. You really do have to be here to appreciate what we've got today. Farina. Babic fouls him. Simon Micallef in very quickly. There'll be no backing off from anything today from either set of players. There's no saving yourself for another day. This is the day. The biggest day for Branko Kalina. Off to Malaysia on Tuesday with the World Youth Squad. Brave head out of defence. The defence without Robbie Enesh, of course, who's suspended. Touched on. Maricic through the centre. Milicic waiting down the left, but Maricic is brought down, and Zdrilic. Williams with a little bit of push and shove. Foul there on Maricic. There's no doubt that Maricic is the marquee player for Sydney United. He is the man to stop as he takes the free kick quickly. Gench whips it across. Bolton comfortable, relieved to come out and gather the ball for the first time in the game. John, there's lots of talk about the crowd and how it will affect both sides. Will it work for Brisbane or against them, do you think?
It's a hard one. I think if it's going to work, it's going to work in the first period. That's the period that will take Sydney United to settle down. It can work against them, of course, as the game drifts on, but a good start by Brisbane, very positive. And I go back to that point of Casey Wehrman, who's had a fabulous year, but the last couple of final series haven't been good ones for him. And I think it's essential for Brisbane's success today that Casey does have a dominant role in midfield, and his start certainly promises to do just that. The other interesting thing in midfield of Gwynn coming forward to mark Maricic, and the problem in marking Maricic is such a skilled player is not to foul him, and because the constant fouls not only giving away free kicks, but you run the risk of getting not just a yellow but a second yellow and being off the field.
Troy Cranny just letting the ball run away from him there. Trojkovski in very quickly. Rob Trojkovski, such an important player for Sydney United, getting him forward down that right-hand side. Brisbane will be countering that with the likes of Cranny, who trying to get the cross in here. The cross is blocked, and Bilokovic takes over. Trojkovski goes down the line. Zdrilic flicking on. Both sides still trying to settle down. Atek Gench just getting a touch there. What a surprise selection he was. He only really started training again this week after a layoff of several months. Danny Wright takes the throw. Craig Williams, you can see on the ball there, he also hurt his knee during the week. A white bandage on his right knee there, and all of a sudden Brisbane with Farina, who hadn't trained, and Knife with the elbow problems, and Williams looking like the walking wounded for just a moment, but 2 out of those 3 have taken the park. Ante Moric comes short. The pitch looking a little bit bumpy through the centre there. Farina too far ahead for Sean Cranny. Gench, there's Plesha. Milicic. Oh, straight to Gwynn. Troy Cranny. Through the centre, looking for his brother Sean. Tremendous moment this for the Cranny family. Ante Milicic has had such a sparkling season. It seems that everything's come together for Ante Milicic this season. Everything that he's been promising to put together for 3 or 4 years now. It's good for Shaq. It's Moric. Plesha. Babbage. Sydney United trying to get their rhythm early, get their natural passing style. The game working, but Danny Wright got there first and clears the ball away. Brisbane have 5 players in their squad today who've played in a grand final. Farina, Hunter, Wright and Brown, who are in the starting 11, and Gary Phillips on the bench. It's an awful lot of experience between those players. Over 1,400 matches at this level between those 5 players, and Sydney United have just Kresimir Maricic, who won a championship medal 2 seasons ago with the Melbourne Knights. But they have got 5 internationals in their lineup, and that is a real sore point, of course, up here in Brisbane. Ironically, they could be the national champions without a national team player, as Maricic plays one in. On the volley from Babbage. The ironic cheer that always comes with a shot that goes well over the crossbar from a defender. Clint Bolton, who has been in tremendous form after going through somewhat of a sticky patch during the season. His finals form has been first class. Brown can't get there. Kuprashak, Farina straight in late on Kuprashak, very late indeed. Farina could be in trouble here. Kuprashak's holding his shoulder. And Simon Mikulev, will he take the hard line? Well, he just speaks to Farina. There's no card going out here. And the strikers player coach a little lucky, perhaps. Fortunately, Kuprashak is back up quickly. He's a tough customer, Velimir Kuprashak. Had the game of his life last week against South Melbourne, knowing that this week would be his final game for his club. It's Gench, helps it on. It's Drilic, stole the ball well, but gave it away equally as quickly. Shaq trying to let it run. Again, he's fouled. This time it's Brown. Brown stood on his hand as well. That was an accident. Take a look here. Kuprashak in the wars. That's where Brown stood on him. Just slipping. The ball going back to Williams. Wright helps it on. He's Wright again. Drilic lost down to Hunter. So determined. Drilic found his man as well. And a huge cheer there for the strikers captain. Well, there's so much emotion behind this strikers team today. Alan Hunter, the captain, playing his final game for the club before he moves to Melbourne to take over the captaincy at Carlton. Well, that's good play. Trajkovski, can he keep it in? Still Trajkovski, no foul there. Williams across quickly and was tidy with winning the ball but not distributing the ball.
One of the battles of the game, that Detroit Cranny, Trajkovski, and the reason to contain Trajkovski is just what we saw there. If he can start overlapping, Sydney United will start cooking a lot better than they are at the moment. I think they've taken a while to settle down, Sydney United. Or basically, their game is very much a passing game, whether it's the surface or the pressure of Brisbane. They just haven't been able to get those number of passes together to dominate. And at this stage, you would give the point slightly towards Brisbane. They've settled quicker. They've probably been more incisive in what they're doing, and in the individual battles, probably on top.
News has just come through that the gates have been closed here at Suncorp. There are people outside who haven't been able to get tickets. It's a capacity crowd. here at sensational Suncorp Stadium. Majority, of course, cheering for the side in yellow and blue, as Marisic is surrounded by 3 players in yellow and blue, but still Sydney United, well, they looked like they were going to come away with the ball. Now Hughes for the strikers. Good ball in behind. Sean Cranny's running onto that, and Kalatz, who plays most of the game on the edge of the penalty area. That's twice that Kalatz has been called into action to find something. He was out quickly there. Sean Cranny, the speedster for the strikers, just couldn't get onto the pass there from Hughes, and what a start Shea Hughes has had.
Probably the dominant player out of the middle of the park for Sydney United. Marisic as yet unable to get hold of the ball and do much, but Hughes, the dominant player out of midfield.
Casimir Marisic will have to get through the game knowing that Glenn Gwynn will never be more than a metre or 2 away from him. It's the tightest of man-to-man marking jobs today on Casimir Marisic. We really haven't seen anyone this season. It's Cranny's offside. We haven't seen anyone really manage to stop Marisic when he's in the mood. So it's a lot of responsibility on Glenn Gwynn. Pleasure for some kind of movement. In the end it comes, but there's Gwynn in front of Marisic. There's Kuprashak. Marisic couldn't get there, and Gwynn could, but he just holds his hamstring there and grimaces in some pain. You just wonder. There's Glenn Gwynn again, looks to be struggling. Watch that one fairly closely. Well, of all players that you wouldn't want to be tracking if you're struggling with an injury is Casimir Marisic. He covers more ground than anyone in Australian football during 90 minutes. Here he is, Gwynn, the shadow. Marisic waiting. Forced back an awfully long way, all the way in fact to Plesha. Strilic. Wright across quickly. Strilic got away from Danny Wright. Still David Strilic, the top marksman in the country, working his way into the penalty area, clambering over bodies to get to the ball. He's still got the ball, but he fouled his man. Danny Wright it is, who's just rubbing his knee. There were 2 or 3 players again on David Strilic very quickly. He hacked at the ball and got right instead. It's a good decision from Simon Mikulev. Hunter under pressure early, decides to go long. Weirman underneath it. Ante Moric won it in the air. Here's Moric again. Babic. Still Sydney United struggling to find their rhythm. Certainly the feeling from the players before the game on the pitch was that the bumpiness of it or the unevenness of it wouldn't be a major problem for him, though we have seen on a couple of occasions already the ball bobbling, if you like, as a player tries to control it. Milicic not really expecting the throw there. Farina. Cranny goes back. Wright goes long. Brown's underneath it. Flicks it on. Back. Oh, that was so risky. Troy Cranny waiting there. Plesha didn't know he was there. Kalatz nonchalant through a door. Sean Cranny. Weirman. he's so composed on the ball, prepared to bring it down with 2 or 3 men around him there. Casey Weirman, fine play from him. Here's Farina. Farina again, playing it in. Awkward. Kuprashak went in front of his goalkeeper there. Kalatz let him know about it as well. But he wanted to make absolutely sure, and he did that in a sense. Corner to the strikers. Shea Hughes across to take it. Hunter goes to the near post. Gwynn coming late at the back post. Hunter's there. Kalatz is there. Oh, risky throw there from Kalatz. Ante Milicic hasn't been in the game much in the opening 17 minutes that we've had here at Suncorp, as the ball is played in. Gensch underneath it, just helps it on.
Yeah, I think the problem for Sydney United is if Trajkovski and Maricic are not seeing a lot of the ball, that it cuts Zdrilic and Milicic out of the game. And at this stage, Brisbane, tactically, one feels on top in that area, although that question mark over Gwynn, who is still limping behind play. And if that is an injury, of course, that is going to free Maricic up and may force Brisbane into an early change.
Rokovic heading on. Shea Hughes. Oh, what a game he's had already. Helping it on there to Brown. Weirman, who we know can shoot from long range. This time he brings Troy Cranny into the game, who swapped sides, and Gensch got the better of him there. Gensch lost out to Weirman. Now Maricic with some room. For the first time of the game, Gwynn's nowhere near him. Milicic back to Maricic. A man free on the right-hand side. This is much better from United. The shot comes in there. Bolton bouncing awkwardly in front of him.
Better from Sydney United. And one of the first good service that Maricic has received. And of course, once he does gain possession, the game opens. And Sydney United look a much different side.
Ante Moric cutting in onto his left foot, his more favoured side. Really was only a little awkward for Bolton because the ball bounced in front of him, but Maricic getting more and more involved now. Milicic losing out. Williams, good pass to Alan Hunter. Forward for Cranny. Just didn't find his feet, and Sydney United, who are coming more and more into the game. That's a nice ball from Milicic. Trajkovski, still Trajkovski, good play from him, took the shot on his own. I think he changed his mind there, Rob Trajkovski. 1 minute he was going to take a shot, and the next minute it was a through ball.
But again, illustrating that point, Paul, that if he, Trajkovski and Maricic getting possession, Sydney United an entirely different team. I note that the Crannies have changed flanks. Troy now over on the right side here, which has given a little bit more freedom to Trajkovski, and also Gwynn's injury, he's not as tight on Maricic as he was in the earlier minutes, so that is a big headache for Brisbane. Just how serious that injury is to Gwynn probably won't be revealed till half time. But if Maricic getting more and more of the ball, that is an ominous sign for Brisbane.
Ilokovic, good pass. Milicic, 2 men spare down the right-hand side. One of them is Milicic. Good ball across, and Wright got there. And slowly Sydney United start to find their feet. And some defending here for Sean Cranny. Craig Williams helps him out. But the way they work the space down their flanks there, and they got in a good cross for the first time in the game. And here they come again, looking for another. Ante Moric. Cutting back onto the left foot, goes far post. Zdrilic is there, too big for David Zdrilic. He'll wait for support. Carlton, former Olympian. He didn't go to Atlanta. He's a former young Socceroo as well. The possibility is that Brisbane may have to make a change. Their substitutes is stretching up. We see Hunter come forward for the strikers. Kuprashak got there first. Tchaikovsky, if he can get past Cranny here, which he's done. There's danger here for the strikers. The ball through to Milicic was just a little bit rushed from Rob Tchaikovsky. There is. It was Jeremy Harris who was warming up there for the Brisbane Strikers. He does play in that central midfield role, and he could be the man to come on for Gwyn if the injury doesn't clear up. Gench got there. Straight to Sean Cranny. Oh, great ball too. Troy Cranny through the centre. Good pass intention there for Rod Brown. And the two Cranny brothers, with that understanding they have, opened up Sydney United there. Milicic lost out straight away to Hunter, who's well on top in that particular battle. Sean Cranny wriggling away from a couple. Here's Weirman. Farina's free down the right-hand side as Gwyn goes forward. Frank Farina into the penalty area. Played across. Kuprashak got there before Brown. Maricic will keep the ball in. The game opening up all of a sudden. Long ball for Milicic, who just peeled away from Alan Hunter. And look at this, Ante Moric free all on his own through the centre there. Here is Moric, but the pass was not a good one from Ante Milicic. Great ball from Weirman. Hughes. Weirman picks up a loose one. Here's Brown. Back to Weirman, who's like a conductor in the centre of this Brisbane Strikers midfield. Hughes is down on his knees, or he was for a moment ago there, and Weirman was also just looking a little tired. Hughes is still down on his haunches. Right, and tried to get things going for the Strikers. The last 5 minutes or so have been Sydney United's, really. Danny Wright. Brown flicks on, great ball across, loose ball. Tchaikovsky, well, he had to put his foot up to get the ball away from Troy Cranny. That was a risk in itself, but he got away with it. Corner to the Strikers. Hunter and Wright both go to the near post. Plenty of red shirts though there as well, as Hughes takes it. Callat stays and then decides to come, and the ball is gone out. It's a goal kick. Milicic, another pass that didn't find its man from him. Cranny tried to find Brown. It's underneath, unchallenged. Moric picks it up. The ball for Brisbane. It's a very, very even game so far. Brown is offside. Flesher in at the back today. Well, he played last week, of course, against South Melbourne, but he played as a marker because Robbie Ennish was the sweeper. Ennish is suspended, of course, and there's a rejig of the defence from Branko Kalina. Mark Babbitt's the captain, back in the side, on the ball now. Waiting for some movement. Here it comes. Ante Moric, who's been very lively in this opening half hour. Babic waiting for something. Here it comes. Gench. Babic forced to take on his man. Gench, good ball inside. Moric, Gench through again. Here's Bilokovic. Still Bilokovic. Out wide is Maricic. Very good defence from Brisbane. Maricic's cross is cut out. Prashak. Strikers struggling to get foot on ball at the moment with this little spell. Oh, great ball from Milicic inside. Gench, chance now to run at his man. Still Gench.
But a better period, Paul. That was our point earlier, saying Sydney United really a passing team, that once they get those sequences together, they can probe, keep possession, dictate play, and this is a better period for them.
Gench trying to line up the cross. The header from Drilic. We always had a lot of work to do with that one moving away from the goal. David Drilic with 21 goals this season, but he hasn't scored in the last 6 games. It's an unusual streak for the top goal scorer in the country. Certainly some high optimism for the match itself. 2 of the highest scorers in the country up against each other. Brisbane managed 57 goals so far this season. Sydney United, as I mentioned earlier, on 70. Foul on Tchaikovsky. Good decision too from Simon Micallef. Again, Bilokovic, Kuprashak work their way forward. Bolton comes. Again, he looks solid. Well, he really has had a good final series, Clint Bolton.
Well, the importance of those takes too, not just the actual save itself, but it just generates a whole range of confidence through the defence once you see your keeper coming so positively, clean take, and is very reassuring.
Drilic now. Players onto him. Steals Drilic. Got away from both of them. Great play from David Drilic. Pulled it back. No one on the edge of the penalty area for Sydney United. Weirman just gets Cranny to leave it alone. It's a long ball and a tremendous ball that. So close to reaching Troy Cranny. Now Tchaikovsky down the right hand side. Maricic helping it on. Tchaikovsky, Milicic there on the turn. Well, an instinctive try from Ante Milicic. Perhaps you sense just a little bit of frustration for Ante Milicic. He hasn't started the game as well as he would have liked, but it was there to be hit. He timed it nicely, but didn't control it nicely.
Reinforcing the view there, Paul, too, that Tchaikovsky and Maricic, once they're involved, Sydney United, they're a completely different team. It will be interesting at half-time to see if there is a change with Gwynn, who still is limping a bit, but it is noticeable that since his injury, Maricic getting more and more freedom, and that could spell danger for Brisbane.
Well, we're at the 35-minute mark here. Suncorp, if you've just joined us, it's still 0-0. Pasha. Kalats. Looking for some movement from someone. Free kick by Gench on Glenn Gwynn. And there's 3 players in the Sydney United side who have been nominated for the Players Player of the Year awards, which will be held next week in Sydney. Surprisingly, David Drilic, Kresimir Maricic and Ante Milicic are the trio. And Belokovic handballs there. Intentional handball as well. Simon Micklef tells him to get to his feet. He just lets it go. Belokovic felt that he was being hassled and fouled there by Shea Hughes. I'm not sure he didn't have a case as well, poor Belokovic. Drilic chasing, does well. Good athlete, David Drilic. Too quick there for Danny Wright. But Wright recovered. Ball goes back to Bolton. Brisbane made a very awkward situation there, looked fairly easy to get out of as Sean Cranny goes back to Williams. There's space on the left-hand side here for Gwynn. Hughes. I just showed too much of the ball there for Maricic, but Hunter hasn't put a foot wrong in this his final game for the Strikers. Troy Cranny. Hughes. Sean Cranny lets it run. Farina. Sean Cranny going through. We couldn't take the ball with him. It would have been a great opening if he could have. And this perhaps is a great opening for Sydney United with Milicic taking on his man. Goes past Hunter. It's Drilic helping him still. Milicic all his own. The shot! Great try that from Milicic. Best moment of the game for Sydney United. Talk about coming back to your old self in an instant. He went past Hunter with ease. He took Williams away and it just missed that far post by about half a metre.
And the best moment of the game for Ante Milicic. The type of thing that he's quite capable of doing, that mazy runs, the dribbling, taking on defenders. And the first time we've seen that in the match. And a good sign for Sydney United. Lesher doing well at the back too. I mean, that's been a really pleasing aspect for Sydney United. Very cool, very calm, doing his job very efficiently without any fuss.
Brown turning away, takes the shot. Kalats, and he's always looking to get on with the game very quickly, Željko Kalats, but there's one point that Frank Farina made during the week. He felt that most of Sydney United's best counter-attacks came from the goalkeeper, so it's something that they have tried to watch for in particular, marking up very quickly when Kalats gets the ball. Moric also gets the ball behind the man. Still Ante Moric, Maricic there in space. He's bypassed. Drilic flicks it on. Not to anyone in particular though. And Weirman comes away with the ball, helping it on to Sean Cranny, galloping down the right-hand side. It's a good cross in here. Brown can't get there. Kuprashek did. Kalats decided to stay on his line. Gwynn with the shot. Well, Sydney United have got Rob Trojkowski down the right, as we've talked about, but we forget sometimes the pace of Sean Cranny down the right-hand side for the Strikers. Five minutes to go until half-time. Match has opened up more and more as the half has gone on. Mark Battiston and Nick Meredith, the two long-term injuries for the Brisbane Strikers. They didn't come into contention today, and also Wayne Knight missed out at the last minute. The victims of it's been a long season. Babbage under pressure from Cranny. He miskicked totally. And Cranny looking to get on with the game quickly. Hunter joining him quickly as well. Farina turning. Hunter going on. Played it across. Flesher's there and he clears quickly. And Hunter is covering ground like some of the youngsters in the side. Drilic bouncing. Got the better of the bounce too with Wright. Oh, that was foot up there from Davis Drilic. And one in the face for Glenn Gwynn. And it's handshakes there from Drilic and Gwynn. And a yellow card, and rightly so for Davis Drilic. Just studs right across the earlobe. Davis Drilic, one of just two players who have played in every single game for Sydney United this season, and it's his striking mate Ante Milicic the other. As we take another look. The ball there, Babbage. Clearance, charge down, Gench helps it on. Milokovic, Marisic trying to bring it down. Gwynn has played such a good role so far on Krezimir Marisic, negating all of the positive things that the Sydney United midfielder tries to come up with, all his tricks, all his little shuffles that he's got. Arena. Here's Troy Cranny. Shut. Milicic in space. Plenty forward here for Sydney United. All of a sudden it's 4 forward against 3 defenders as Brisbane try to recover, and they do with Hunter. Captain's role for sure today from Alan Hunter. Scored in a grand final back in 1988, Alan Hunter, playing for Sydney United, ironically. Farina. Weirman through the centre. Good ball from Weirman to Brown. Flags up. Well, that must have been close. Frank Farina made his feelings fairly clear to the linesman on the near side. To the last minute of the first half.
Yeah, and a half which hasn't really lived up, Paul, to pre-match expectations. I think both defences on top, and I think both teams are having trouble with the ground. It's interfering with the quality of the passing, and hence the flowing football that both of these teams are capable of hasn't come to pass. But as the game goes on in the second half, it will free up. There will be more space. There will be the ability for room like we have here now, where players have more room and more space to create.
Throw into the strikers as we move into time added on. Gench got there before giving away a corner. Well, that's interesting. Gench poked it through the legs of Sean Cranny. He felt he was obstructed. He pulled Cranny back, but he got the decision. It's half-time here at Suncorp. And the game opened with a hiss and a roar when Shea Hughes tested Callats, probably for the best save and shot of the game. And then the match tightened up considerably. It started to open up as the half has gone on, but certainly neither side could go in at half-time feeling that they were well on top in the game. The tension of the occasion is there for both sides, but the crowd has enjoyed itself in this first 45 minutes here. Some of the little personal battles. Glenn Gwynn has kept Kresimir Maricic very quiet indeed. And the follow-on from that is the fact that Milicic and Zdrilic too haven't been in the game as much as they would have liked. Branko Kalina, he's a master tactician. What can he come up with in the break? Frank Farina too will have to look hard at his side and check also on the fitness of Glenn Gwynn, who was limping for a large part of that first half. But at half-time here at Suncorp, it's the Brisbane Strikers 0, Sydney United 0. We'll take a short break and be back with more action shortly.
You meet a girl, you take her home.
The full splendour of a packed house at Suncorp Stadium welcomes you back to the Ericsson Cup Grand Final, 1997. The two teams are out and in readiness for the second half. It's 0-0. Let's go back to Paul Williams and Johnny Warren.
Well, there's no change to the starting 11s of both sides. Gary Phillips was stripped and warming up fairly hard at half-time, but there's no sign that he's coming on, at least immediately. Glenn Gwynn is back on the park. He was the only player who there was some kind of injury cloud over. That's why we're all here today. The superb Ericsson Cup. As Maricic gets us underway in the second half here. The Brisbane Strikers' record at Suncorp this season hasn't been as good as you would have imagined. They've been beaten 4 times here in the normal season. They did go through a very bad patch in the middle there, and they lost a couple of home games when they really couldn't do a thing right, but all in all, surprisingly, the Strikers have lost 9 games this season. As Bolokovic tries a shot and Bolton goes down quickly to gather it, as Zdrilic was just loitering there, hoping for something. But as I was saying, the Strikers have lost 9 games this season, which is quite amazing for a side who finished second in the ladder. When you compare that to the Collingwood Warriors, they finished second from bottom, and they only lost 11 games. So a bit of a mixed season at times from the Brisbane Strikers, and certainly their form at home hasn't been as emphatic as you would have expected. They're hoping to change that today as Gwynn comes away for the Strikers. Weirman leaves it. Good ball forward for Danny Wright. Here's Brown. Brown too has his own personal agenda. Here he's got 130 NSL goals in his career as the ball comes in. Callats was challenged. Play on, according to Simon Mikulev. Well, now, what did Callats do after the ball there?
Well, it's a penalty, really, because Callats, even if he was well challenged by Farina, and after the ball's dropped, I believe he's pushed him.
Well, this is interesting. Farina went in there. Callats went down. There were words spoken between the two afterwards. Meanwhile, play goes on. Oh, great turn from Brown. Kuprashek on the mark there, and he had to be. Loose ball, chance here, and it's a goal! Farina has opened the scoring for the Strikers. He starts started the second half on fire when he clattered into Kalatz just a few moments ago. Kalatz and he exchanged some words, but within 60 seconds, Farina has hit back in the most emphatic of manners. He's beaten Kalatz, and the ball was nestled in the back of the Sydney United net. It was a ball that wasn't cleared convincingly by the defence. Farina's reactions there were superb. And that's 1-0 to the Strikers. Well, that is a great goal by any measure. And Cranny goes down now, and the game has come to life with Farina's goal coming in the 3rd minute of the second half. Our football is full of fairy tales, but a winning goal for Frank Farina in the grand final here at Brisbane would just about take the cake. Kalatz watchful as the cross comes in from Hughes. Well, the complexion of the game has changed considerably. A foul. Sydney United throw. Ante Moric will take it. No reaction from the Sydney United bench as yet. Prashak. Getch couldn't get there. Moric now. Delightful turn. Brown turning away as well. Hughes forward. Cranny will get there. Oh, so close. Even a speedster like he couldn't get there. Moric wants to get on with the game quickly. Branko Kalina, who's just finished addressing his players with the tactics for the second half, may have to have a bit of a rethink. Marisic awfully deep. Kuprashak. The wings prepared to bring it down on his chest. High ball through the centre. Marisic fouled. Brayshaw. Bell on the bench there. Drilic can't get there. Here's Troy Cranny, forced to go back. No chances, as you would expect, will be taken in the Brisbane defence now. And that's a handball, surely, from Brown. It is. And rightly so, it's a yellow card. Take another look here. It was very quick hands from Rod Brown. And Kuprashak and Kalatz went up immediately with the arms. Gench forward. Still Gench. Good ball across. Marisic just took too long. He wanted way too long, in fact. Now, Cranny through down the right-hand side. Plenty of Strikers players forward. Here's Shea Hughes. Good chance for Brisbane there that went begging. There were yellow shirts streaming down the ground. Great ball from Cranny to find Hughes in space at the back post. Hunter at the near post. So was Babbage. Hughes and Bilokovic chasing.
We're sitting here at half-time, Paul, saying the game needs a goal, and little did we expect it to come so quickly. And of course it has changed now, the whole complexion. It needed a goal to break what was a deadlock of defences on top, very little happening out of midfield. And it now becomes a very serious period now for Sydney United. We're really up against the Brisbane fighting. A great goal from Farina, really professional goal, the determination, the ability to score from such an opportunity which wasn't just such a great chance for him. Significant that the ball came from Hughes, who has probably been one of the players on the park at this stage.
Cranny back to right, whips in the cross. Brown's waiting, couldn't get there because Plesher beat him. Here's Gwynn, Drillage tracking back. Cranny trying to just knock it past the defender and go, and Bilokovic was anticipating exactly that. Gench will get there for Sydney United, and that will be a Brisbane Strikers free kick. Good decision too from Simon Mikolev. Gench. Nice switch of play there to find Babic in space on the right-hand side. Here's Trajkovski. An early ball play from Trajkovski. Too hurried, too rushed. Brisbane have rattled Sydney United here with that goal from Karina. And many people have said without a doubt that Sydney United are the outstanding side in the country at the moment. Well, their character is well and truly being tested here. They're a goal down in the grand final. It doesn't get any bigger than this. We've had 9 minutes of the second half gone. Taken quickly. Milicic will get there. Pulled it back. Williams perfectly placed. Here's Moric. Milicic. So sharp in the tackle, Hunter. Trajkovski, that's gone out. Well, there has been somewhat of a war of words between these two sides in the build-up to the game. Krasimir Maricic has been in the thick of things from a Sydney United perspective, and Farina is never one to back away from the confrontation, as we saw earlier with Kalatz. Cranny inside to right, good ball. Gwynn got away from Maricic. Now this is really turning the tables. Cranny through the centre, Kuprashak across. And Glenn Gwynn got away down the right-hand side there. Kalatz keen to speak to his defenders to get them back on their toes again after that mistake which let Farina in. Right, we'll take the long throw. Newman's gone short. There's only Brown in the centre. He's a long way away from the ball though. Now he comes short. Brown got there. Good touch. Farina! My word, that was close. Well, Brown and Farina have been playing together for years and years, and you can see the understanding there. The faintest of touches, Farina was waiting for just that. I think in the end it missed by a couple of metres, but it's the sort of opportunity that an extra touch on the ball could have seen it gone past Kalatz. Now, Kuprashak is down. Trainer is on. His final game for his club, Velimir Kuprashak. That would be a real shame to see him end his career having to go off in the grand final. He's as tough as they come. And Sydney United, a man down for the moment. Milicic. Hunter. Brown. Lovely touch inside for Hughes, who has caused real problems for Sydney United. The youngster, surprise selection, but has he ever justified his selection? Here he is again, calling the shots. Babic out of the back. Milicic in space down the right-hand side. Just keeps it in. Well, Craig Williams, this experienced defender, timing the tackle there to perfection. Tchaikovsky. Maricic fouled. Now, what can Sydney United do here? Very, very risky proposition that, to give away a free kick in and around the penalty area, with Maricic over the ball, Moric over the ball as well. Forward for Sydney United. Maricic over the ball. Bolton stays. The defence clears the ball away. Not thoroughly though. Here's Ante Moric. Bilokovic towing it on to Babic wide on the left. Bolton comes off his line and he takes it with ease. He's handled everything in the air with consummate professionalism today, Clint Bolton. As Babic hit it well to the back post. Milicic came flying in, but he couldn't get there. Branko Kalina, one of the most thoughtful coaches in the country, heading off on Tuesday to Malaysia with the Australian World Youth Cup squad as assistant coach to Les Scheinfeld. It's a real feather in his cap. He's been honoured for the work that he's done this season with Sydney United. Now it's Julic turning into trouble, really. Bilokovic. One in the tackle, one back by Gench. Great play, Gench clips it in. Julic can't get there. Hunter can. Clears only as far as Paul Bilokovic. And Bilokovic, who hasn't found the back of the net this season for Sydney United. He's the only outfield player with that particular statistic. Got there, couldn't help it on to Ante Milicic, and they're the best double act in Australian football without a doubt, but they haven't fired today.
You've got to give credit there. Hunter has been outstanding at the back, Danny Wright as well. They just haven't given them any room to move. And while that continues, of course, Sydney United are going to struggle.
Half an hour to go here at Suncorp. This record crowd has seen so far what they came to see. That is, strikers finding the back of the net. And Sean Craney will keep this in. And then all of a sudden it's 3 against 3. Brown going to the back post. Here is Brown. Babic, to his credit, read the situation well. Good cross from Sean Craney. Now Maricic comes away for Sydney United. Gench, first time pass. Ante Moric waiting for someone to help him out. Comes from Bilokovic. Hunter again. Well, that was brilliant. He really has won the battle today with Ante Milicic. As Farina goes in search of number 2. The ball's not cleared away thoroughly. Sean Craney will pick it up. Hughes back to Craney. Weirman. He's so prepared to get the ball, even though there's a red shirt not too far away from him. Again, Tchaikovsky getting there. Well recovered by Gwynn too, who really has worked so hard. Zdrilic, Marisic. Joining in is Babic down the right-hand side. Tchaikovsky's moved out of the space. Good ball in from Babic to the back post. Zdrilic wins it in the air. Chance here, Gedge! What a try! He caught it absolutely superbly, I take Gedge. And the first real mistake out of the striker's defence. Williams headed it straight to him. 1.5 meters away in the end. And Jason Kalina is going into the history books now as the youngest ever player to take the park in a grand final. He's come on as a substitute for Rob Tchaikovsky. His 17th birthday is in August of this year, Jason Kalina. A marvellous moment for a fine young player. That's a great start from him. What a good pass that was to Moric wide on the right-hand side.
A very interesting change at Branko Kalina. A real gamble here. They move Plesher to right fullback in Tchaikovsky's position. They're going to play man for man at the back. And Kalina coming into midfield, Jason that is. So it gives a little bit more power, but it does run the risk that you're playing man for man at the back. But it's a real gamble. It's good timing to make it. Branko realising that Sydney United really need a little bit more happening out of midfield if they're to get Zdrilic and Milicic into the game.
26 minutes to go here. So Sydney United need something. Williams away. Kalina again involved a couple of times early. Here he is for the third time. Williams chasing him. But 2 weeks ago, Jason Kalina became the youngest ever player to score in a finals match, but not the youngest to play in a finals match. John Markowski has that particular honour. The year that Markowski was playing in the finals, his side didn't make the final, or the grand final rather. So it's an honour all by himself for Jason Kalina as Belokovic and Farina chest to chest. Tensions running high, understandably, particularly for the younger Sydney United players. Farina is taking it all in his stride, I'm sure. Let's take another look at just what happened. Babic put Farina to the ground. Belokovic followed through, or followed in rather. Officials, just a little bit of concern, in fact more than a bit of concern on their faces. Troy Cranny, here's Brown. Weirman, look at the space, doesn't mind a shot from long range, Casey Weirman, but Belokovic closed him down. Troy Cranny. There's Sean Cranny. Babic away, only as far as Weirman. Still Weirman, great run from him. Across, no one there for Brisbane. How did he get that one across the goal? Well, that could have been the end of the road for Sydney United. Weirman was so patient with the cross. He had players diving in all over the place. He whipped it in the end. There was no one there for the strikers at the far post. That's right. It's back to Kallax. Long ball. Bilokovic picks up the loose ball. Still Bilokovic. Kuprashak joining in from the back. Milicic blocked. It's just a wall of yellow shirts. Still Milicic going through, but too many to beat there, really. Brown. Now, this is interesting for Brisbane. Sean Cranny galloping down the right-hand side. His brother Troy's in the centre, as is Brown. Here's Rod Brown. A second! It is! The noise of the crowd here tells the story, and there are over 40,000 people in at Suncorp today. I've just had that confirmed, and they've gone berserk because Rod Brown, his 131st goal in the NSL, there's never been a bigger one than that one.
And always a danger for Sydney United. Once they made that change to play man-to-man at the back, the problem was that you're going to get caught out. But this is a great counter-attack. The delivery to Sean Cranny, the quality of the ball in, and the finish from Brown. That's the risk Sydney United ran. They've lost it, and difficult to see Sydney United coming back from here.
Well, Sean Cranny is one of the fastest players in a pair of football boots in the country. Well, chance here. Well, just for a moment, it looked as though Drilic was on the volley there, as we just had to come away from the replay for a moment. But now, Sydney United, is there a way back for them? You're a brave man if you're prepared to back that particular situation. Brisbane 2 goals ahead. And this massive crowd, as we take another look at the finish from Brown. The largest ever crowd for an All-Australian soccer match. The previous record was 40,165 in 1963, the Sydney Grand Final, when South Coast beat Apia 4-0. The previous record in a Grand Final was 26,352 at Parramatta in 1990, when Olympic beat Marconi 2-0. Right is down. It'll take more than a wrap across the shins to get Danny Wright off the park, I would think. Well, John, I was just about to ask you before the goal went in how you thought the reshuffled Sydney United side was looking, but
a bit late for that.
Yeah, it's just a little bit late, I think.
Well, it was a gamble, a calculated gamble. You know, it's the coffin nailer, that they say, for the coach to make the change. It was to take Trajkovski off, which is a big risk in itself, reorganise your defence, play man-to-man at the back. They had to commit more out of midfield because not enough happening for Drilic and Milicic. It was a gamble, and as events have turned out, well, we hope we're not speaking too early, but it worked against them. They were caught beautifully on the counter-attack, and what an effective one it was. Just crisp delivery. Excellent cross from Cranny and Rod Brown, putting it away beautifully. That's the way the game goes, as they say. I think you applaud coaches for making a drastic move. But sadly for Sydney United, it looks like it may not come off. But still time to come back. But indications are that so far not enough has been happening for them out of midfield or up front to really threaten Brisbane. Hunter again. Hunter absolutely brilliant today. His last game for Brisbane. He's intercepted everything. His tackling's been clean and fair. He's just been the real leader at the back. Stunning stuff.
Well, Brisbane in search of a third, perhaps. With this counter-attacking nature of the game now, they can sit back and soak up a bit of whatever Sydney United have to throw at them. then Sean Cranny and his brother Troy on the other flank. They've got some real speed to get down the other end quickly, and that's a foul by Farina on his opposite number, Krasimir Maricic. Farina in very hard there. Maricic just bounces up and gets on with the game. There's been no love lost between the two, it has to be said, in the build-up to the game. Maricic takes a free kick. It's cleared away by the defence. Kalina in space down the right-hand side. Can he provide something here? Near post cross. Williams cleared the ball away. Richard Plesher. Milicic straight to Bolton. And almost the story of the afternoon there for Sydney United. And I don't think Clint Bolton has been called into action to make a decent save so far this afternoon. Take another check on the clock. About 16 and a half minutes to go. So hard to see the strikers throwing it away from here. We, of course, those who have been involved in the sport for a long time know that anything can happen in 16 and a half minutes. But the whole momentum of the game is in favour of the home side as Farina tries his luck, and we almost forgive him just a moment of indulgence there for what he's achieved for club and state this season. Moric can't get there. The defence still right on the ball. Danny Wright, in fact. Bolton comes.
You were saying earlier, Paul, he hasn't had a shot perhaps to stop, but his work in the air has been superb. To come and collect the ball so cleanly, so far from goal. I mean, he's just added that stability to the Brisbane defence, which has been outstanding. Not just Hunter, we've mentioned. Wright and Williams.
Brown, players in the centre. Weirman got there this time on Kalats. It's a corner, and not for the first time in the game. Kalats is complaining to the referee about the challenges coming in at him. As we take another look at the cross, it was whipped into the near post by Brown. Weirman had every right to go for it at that stage. And amazingly, it's Kalats who's holding his arm. Troy Cranny picks it up. Brown's at the back post. Good ball. Rod Brown there. Just touched away by Kikashak, who again has gone down. Maricic, Bilokovic putting the ball out. Let's take a look at our teammate, says Paul Bilokovic. Mikalev has called the trainer on. We're just surveying the wounded in the opposition. There's no doubt at times this season that Sydney United have set some new standards for the way the game can be played in this country. They were absolutely superb in the minor premiership. They drew their first game, then they won 9 on the row. But the second half of the season never matched the first. That fact is being borne out totally here in the grand final. Weirman goes past a couple, then he's fouled. Play goes on. Maricic, the fastest feet in the Sydney United side. Gench down the left. Is there something still here for Sydney United? It needs to come quickly if it is, and it's a corner. Marisic, plenty of red shirts in there. Bolton can't get there. So close there for a Kuprashak. He headed the ball into the back of the head of Gwyn. With the goal beckoning, another corner. Bolton blocked. It's Drilic at the back post. Marisic can't get there. Gwyn did just enough. And Farina toes it back. Sean Cranny again on the gallop. This is dangerous. One-on-one. The two number 8. Sean Cranny against Morich. And you feel that Cranny would have the legs of Morich if they did go for the 1v1, but he decided to take the long shot. Three and a half minutes gone in the second half. Hunter still proving to be the immovable object. The Brisbane defence. A change here for the strikers. It's Jeremy Harris coming on. Shea Hughes, who applauds the crowd, who returned the accolade because he did have a great first half, Shea Hughes.
One other performance for Brisbane. Surprise selection, but one that's certainly come off for Brisbane, particularly in that first half from the opening moment when he had that shot to his work out of midfield. It's an area where Brisbane have dominated, and he's had a lot to do with it.
Hunter pops a bollocking there off his goalkeeper, Clint Bolton, for being casual there, but Bolton was well placed at the near post. Nothing going right for Sydney United. Brown lost it. Harris kept his eye on the ball. Now Morich bundled off the ball with ease. Gwyn, what a game he's had as well. Kept Marisic quiet and joined in the attack on many an occasion. The cross comes in. Harris, Kuprashak got there. Morich goes past his man. Drilic is just in front of him. David's Drilic through the centre. He's got a lot to do from there. Troy Cranny, look at the legs from him. Managed to keep it in. Brilliant play from Cranny. Gone past his man. There's a man in the centre. Brown can't get there because Kalatz does. A great run from Troy Cranny. He's in the best form of his career, without a doubt. He's the only player in this Brisbane Cyclers 11 who's played in every game this season. Marisic. Helena can't get there. Weirman is fouled. His opposite number 17, Belokovic, who's just getting involved in something he doesn't really need to get involved with there. Farina had a bit to say to him. Now, Simon Mikulev has already got the yellow card out, so his fate is sealed already. Kuprashak got involved as well there in the heat of the moment. Belokovic got the yellow card. Tackle there. Belokovic came in quickly on Weirman after Kaluna had an earlier challenge. Brown turning away. Just 8 minutes on the clock left for Sydney United. It will take an eternity for the Strikers players and fans. Sydney United could find a goal from somewhere, we'd be in for a terrific finish here. As Gench comes forward, deflection. They'll go for a corner. Rudan about to come on. Marisic playing it to Kalina. Good ball across. Header over the bar. Drilic has hardly had a look at goal all day. He finally got his sights there, and his header was just deflected over the bar. A good ball in from Jason Kalina. Marisic again, whipping it in. Kalina took the volley over the bar. Rudan will come on in place of Paul Milokovic. It's a good moment this for Mark Rudan because he's had a disappointing second half of the season. He was badly tackled in a match against Marconi back in, it was early February, and he's been injured since then, and he's just been on the comeback trail similar to Aitek Genç. And he gets a taste of the grand final as Farina firing up his players, still leaving nothing to chance. Kick. Now players moving. Farina is one. Going to the back post. Kalats comes out. Farina slowly gets back to his feet. Genç just let it run. Well played by him. Rudan. All the way back to Kalats. That's good enough for Brisbane. John, of course, there could only be one winner in a match such as this, and it doesn't look like it's going to go Sydney United's way today, but they can look back on a terrific season nonetheless.
Yeah, that's sad.
That's
sad. I mean, it's that stat of only two clubs in the past 9 years have won both the minor premiership and the championship. It says a lot about it. I think no one would argue with Brisbane's superiority today. It hasn't been Sydney United's day at all. The defence led by Hunter has been outstanding. Danny Wright, Williams, Bolton and all. He's a change now with Farina coming off. But it's been Brisbane's day. There's no argument with that. Sad times for Sydney United, but great things for Brisbane and Frankie, who's his first year as a coach. I think his changes and his tactical approach to the game today, I mean, involving Hughes early, putting Gwynny on, Marisic have all come off. And it's been Brisbane's day, and I think the likelihood is a third for Brisbane, more than one for Sydney United. I think the other thing, Paul, is that for the most prolific goal-scoring team in the history of National Soccer League, which is Sydney United, they have not had one strike on goal today, and that says a lot about the team performance of Brisbane.
And this Suncorp statistic too haunts Sydney United. They haven't managed to score here now in 3 visits this season, which is quite extraordinary. And the place just erupted when Frank Farina went off. Reece Tollidaire is the player who came on in Frank's place. What a moment for him, and he's had some moments in his career with teams in Europe, with Bari and FC Bruges, Strasbourg of France, but never has he played in front of 40,000 people in his hometown, in his home state. Finished on the winning side, which looks likely here this afternoon. 3 minutes on the clock. Plesha still hopeful of something. Good cross in. Milicic at the back, but Danny Wright. Well, such a distinguished career for Danny Wright as well is coming to an end. Morich. Still no way through. No way past Hunter. That has been the message sent out loud and clear, and Carlton Soccer Club must be delighted with the purchase that they have made. Alan Hunter will move to Melbourne and captain Carlton next season. 32 years of age now. As the Brisbane bench gets a look at the action, Matt Bell to come on. And it's Glenn Gwynn, who's had a superb match today. And that fact is recognised by all of the supporters here. And Frank Farina, who's built this side based on experience and youth. Here's another young player, just a sniff of the grand final with a couple of minutes remaining. Soccer has swept through the state of Queensland like a bushfire that's out of control in this last fortnight. And like Ian Rosasco, the many hours and years of work that they put into the code up here, a moment like this makes it all worthwhile as Weirman takes over, as he has done for most of the game. Milicic can't get there. Bell with his first touch. The crowd thought the whistle had gone for 90 minutes, but they were mistaken. There's still a couple to go. Tolinair turning away. Marisic fouled. Aluna into the penalty area, waiting for support. It's come from Drillis, but they're still swarming around. 3 Brisbane shirts onto just one Sydney United player there. Not prepared to give anything up, even at this stage of the game. There are no chances being taken. Here's Kuprashak. He won't finish his career on the high that he had hoped for. Rudan miscontrolled it. Tolinair to Weirman. Tolinair full of legs and enthusiasm. David's got there first. We're now into time added on here. There won't be too much of that. There's hardly been a stern word from Simon Micallef all day. 3 yellow cards in the game, which is a little on the light side for a grand final. We look at the Brisbane bench. There's Andy Brayshaw at the near side there. Farina right in the thick of things, and spare a thought for Wayne Knight as well. Milicic still with a dance in his stride to no avail. Kuprashak wins it in the air. Rudan back to Kuprashak. Weirman, good ball in behind the defence. Sean Cranny on the gallop again. He'll get there. Is there a third for Brisbane here? Brown's in the centre. Corner ball. Farina is enjoying this moment like no other, I'm sure. He's on his feet watching the game. He's surrounded by press photographers and television cameras. Knights gets the free kick.
66-1, babe.
Knight with just a comment there about the odds on Brisbane. Before the season, they were 66-1. But Brisbane have struck gold here with the 1997 Ericsson Cup. Well, the emotion of the occasion is just too much, I'm sure, for most of the players and supporters. Unbelievable scenes of joy here. The strikers have done it. Just look at the celebrations of the players there, the likes of Phillips and Wright, Hunter, the veterans, just hugging the likes of Hughes and Bell and Tollinaire, Weirman, the young players, the future of the game here in this state. And it all started with the maestro himself, Frank Farina, 3 minutes into the second half with a goal which highlighted that the reflexes are still as sharp as ever. 20 minutes later, Rod Brown, the veteran, in search of the all-time record of NSL goals. Well, he got the second, and that was just too much for Sydney United. Spare a thought for them, for their sparkling champagne style of football has done the league proud this season. But it wasn't their day today. It's the day of the strikers.
Alan Hunter is the captain, don't forget.